Hey there, and welcome to Friends Along the Way, a podcast where travel meets the stories and people who stay with us long after the trip ends. I'm Bethany, and in each episode, I'm going to sit down with a friend to share adventures, lessons, and those unexpected moments that turn strangers into friends. So grab your coffee or your boarding pass, and let's go on this adventure together. Today's episode is a full circle moment. I'm chatting with Michelle, my German foreign exchange friend from middle school. She came to the US at 16 and now lives back in her home country of Germany. We talk about what that experience was like, the culture shocks, and the biggest differences between Europe and America. Let's jump in. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Today on the podcast, we have Michelle. I've known her the longest out of all of my podcast interviewees. We go way back to when I was in middle school and she was in high school. So it has been a long time. And, we've stayed in contact over the years here and there. But she also lives in Germany and I want to move to Austria. And at this point in my life, I might not wait until next year. I might just show up at her house and ask if I could live with her. I'm just
We
kidding.
do
I
have a
won't do
spare
that.
room, so it's okay. That
You're
would
so
that would
nice.
be funny. That would be funny.
I was told this week that I'm the personality hire for my team.
Oh,
So I'm like, thank you. I know I have a great personality, but I do consider myself pretty smart too. So I don't
oh.
know. But let's get into it. You went over to the United States at age 16 to be a foreign exchange student. How did you even get into that program?
Oh yeah. So this was I it's a little bit hilarious because it's back in the day. 2007, I went to the US. However, already I would say 2 years before, I saw a brochure at my high school, at my school, that was like, oh, you can go to Australia, you can go to the US, you can go to the UK, spend your money and basically become a foreign exchange student. And I started kind of, I do remember I had it all prepped out and showed it to my parents who were like, oh no. So it took a little bit of convincing. And actually, there were different programs like 3 months, 5 months, and 10 months being in the US. And initially, I actually selected 3 months to be then adding in the extra two even before I left because we're like, yeah, what's 2 months of a difference? But it was all a school brochure actually. So just funny pictures of lovely students in high school, stock photos, I would say. Yeah.
And how did you pick the US compared to the other places? Or was it just
Oh,
random?
Bethany, I'm going to be very blunt. I'm a very good German that way. I'm very direct. It was cheaper. It was cheaper.
Okay.
So Australia would have been lovely because I mean it's Australia. It's like, oh yeah, let's try it, New Zealand.
Mhm.
But they also seem to have a different school system. I think starting at a different time in the year, the school year. And that wouldn't have worked with the school in my case. And
Mhm.
also it was like we caught like a five-figure amount to just get over there. So we're like, no, we can't afford that. I mean, we could I gotta be honest, we could barely afford the US. So I was lucky in that sense that I got to go. And so that's why it was the US. Very happy about that.
I think in our minds, like from my perspective, coming from a small town, whenever we had foreign exchange students, no matter if it was like our school that we went to or the public school, I always thought you guys had like so much money. Like, oh, they're so lucky. They're probably making bank over in their country, these little rich kids coming over. getting to experience a new culture. Like they are so lucky. I could never do
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that's
that.
not the thing for me. So my grandpa, he was the bank basically, and he
Okay.
supported me. And I mean, we were living in the same house back in the day, so very close relationship. And I actually asked them if they would be, kind of adding a little bit into the fund, let's call it. Also, to be clear, I never got like a car present from them or anything, but that was kind of like the big present, like 2,500 or something. It was more than that, but that's what they added in, which I'm
Hmm.
eternally grateful for. But yeah, not everybody was, I'm gonna say, well off that went on this exchange trip. I think it was a lot of saving and stuff. I love that you
Okay.
you did speak about it though, because I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's not how it was at all.
No, but it's
So,
perception, right? I'm pretty
mhm,
sure we never spoke about this, to be honest, not even before, like when we made the decision to say, hey, let's do the podcast together,
mhm.
because yeah, it's not something that's, I would even say, spoken about a lot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I don't even know how much the programs would be today. I think they would probably be more expensive in all
Oh
honesty.
yeah. Yeah,
So I
I
don't
would
even
say
know.
so too. But I have no numbers. I'm probably gonna, after this call, check it out online.
Me too. I'm like, has there been a decrease in, foreign exchange students because of price and then possibly because of politics as well. So, not like we have to get into politics or anything, I don't want to, but there are so many different factors that it probably has decreased over the years.
I would also say when I went to the US, so this was my 11th year of school, and I was kind of half of the year in the US, and I was a rarity. So, like in my area, only one other person went to another place. She was actually in Australia, and it was hilarious because we came back together in English class. All of the others had like, and I still have it, I know, the German English accent. Then we
Mhm.
had some people who were going to Great Britain a lot with a British accent. And then I came back from the US having the worst, I love it, but like clear Wisconsin accent. And
Okay,
she's
yeah.
from Australia in that sense and bringing in, and it was like a tennis match looking at this, and everybody was like disgusted by our accents, to be honest. So. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
I
my
do
goodness.
remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
What was your favorite time? What was your favorite thing about being a foreign exchange student?
Oh, the favorite thing. Oh, the favorite thing. I'm gonna say just like seeing how it is in a different culture, like the everyday interactions, going to the supermarket, meeting with people. What are friends meeting for? Like, is it a cinema date? Is it a cafe date? Whatever. Like, so just seeing what's kind of in style in the US versus Germany. Because also keep in mind, I was there when I was 16. I did not have my driver license because in Germany and most countries actually in Europe, you're not allowed to drive a car unless you're 17. And that means you
Mhm.
have to drive a whole year with an adult that kind of was signed up on it. Or at 18, you can kind of get your driver's license, which is many more hours than the US and like a lot of tests and stuff. So I couldn't do that. So for me, I came over and I was used to taking my bike somewhere. And then out of a sudden, we're not taking the bike. I mean, it was freezing outside in winter. I've never had that much snow. I didn't understand what it meant on a Sunday. We're not going to church, we're snowed in. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I understood the words, but I've never been snowed in. Never. So I'm like, huh? And then everybody, all of my peers were basically driving cars. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. At the same time, nobody was allowed to drink alcohol. And in Germany,
Yeah.
you can drink soft alcohols like beer when you turn 16 and hard
Mhm.
liquor when you're turning 18. and we can start voting at 16, while you, I believe, can vote as of 18 or 21. So it's kind of like that shock of, oh, this is totally flipped in my world. And just kind of experiencing that was really interesting.
Wow.
I
How?
know. I'm like, what?
Well, I think another thing that's really different is the fact that our school was also so small. It wasn't a
Oh,
public school, it was a private school. And so there were only so many kids per class, like per grade. And therefore, we would all sit in the exact same room, do our own schoolwork. And if we needed help, we would like raise our hand, raise a flag, and a teacher would come over. And then there would be some like in person classes, like biology, certain math classes, different stuff like that. And so it was definitely different from your normal public school where there's just a crap ton of kids everywhere. It was a
yeah.
very intimate setting. How did you feel about that? How did you like that?
So let me start off by saying when you add, like when you apply to become a foreign exchange student, you kind of put a collage together with like pictures. What do you like to do? I even used like the glue stick and everything, to then copy it over back in the day.
Hmm.
And you had to tick a couple of boxes like, are you religious? Are you drinking? Are you doing this and that? Do you have some health issues? Like, basically, the host family would get a whole like information and they could pick from foreign exchange students. Now,
Okay.
yeah. So when we got, and it's hilarious, we got it via fax machine. I mean, via
Way
fax
back in the day.
machine, really. I remember coming home and my mom was super weird, and she later on told me, okay, there's a host family interested. However, you would need to go to private school and this would need to cost us X euros. So again, it was back to my grandfather who was literally saying, yep, no problem, let's do it. Also, I don't want to share how much it was, but I mean,
Oh no.
it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay to be paid. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I already knew it was small, but I didn't know it was that small. I tried looking it up before, and I
Hmm.
think we were 38 students across all of the years. We had two seniors. I was one of the four juniors, and I don't remember how few people were below. So what you explained was very intimate. It was very different, but I gotta be honest, I got so excited later on that I went to the private school because I knew in the high school they had like more than 10 exchange students, and mostly they stuck to each other because for them it was different. Every year they got new exchange students. It was kind of boring, I imagine. You knew they
Hmm.
would leave again, so maybe the friendships weren't as in depth as they could have been. So for me,
Hmm.
I remember at the school there was only one former exchange student before that everybody asked me if I knew that person. I did not. And that was kind of funny. I'm like, no, I do not know this person. They're just one of the 82 million people that are living in Germany. No, it was all in good fun. And yeah, it was lovely. I did have culture shock, though. I did.
Oh, I bet.
What?
And then
Sorry.
I said, "Oh, I bet."
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're okay. And then how was your communication back home? Because I know like today's technology, we have WhatsApp, we can get like eSIMs and all this kind of stuff. So how was that talking with your family?
It was very rare. As you said, we had no ways to really contact each other. We used email. And we had a chat messenger that I kind of installed on the computer of my host family's, yeah, of my host family's computer. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And, but also I could have reached my brother, that's it. But that was down the road. Initially, I literally had emails, and my mom called every Friday at 7 in the morning so we could chat before school. We noticed it was actually very cheap to call, so we were lucky in the sense. But
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's it. Like you could update each other once a week. It's probably still tough. However, with today's technology, it's so much, it sounds mean when I say it, but it's no longer a huge challenge. And I'm trying to say it very soft because I remember at the airport, I looked behind me, saw my mom crying, my dad, my grandparents, and I didn't know when I'd speak to them again. So your phone wouldn't work in the US. You couldn't buy an eSIM. Probably you could. Maybe I wasn't advanced enough, maybe my host family wasn't, but it wasn't the days where you do that. So it's quite challenging actually.
How often did you get homesick? Because I can't even imagine that picture, like, my mom just shipping me off
Oh yeah.
in a sense.
Oh, the first night was the worst. I mean not the worst, but I remember it. I laid down in bed and I was like, why did I do this? And it
Mhm,
wasn't about my lovely host family. It was just about I knew English. We learned it since grade 5. I was now in grade basically 11, but it's
mhm.
school English. You were missing so many vocabulary, and I was so excited and nervous. I had four, or still have four, younger siblings from the host family. So that was really rough, I would say, the first days. And then as well around Christmas time. That's also when I had to decide, would I continue staying 5 more months, so make it a full year, or should I go home? And I mean, it was Christmas, so I said I need to go home.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do regret that. I should have stayed, but it is what it is. I think in that moment it was the right decision to leave, to go home, because it was just the moment. Christmas, I don't know about you, but that's when you really want to be home.
Oh, yeah, I think everybody wants to be home around the holidays.
Yeah.
That's the hardest.
Yeah.
I
But
couldn't
Bethany,
even.
how was it for you actually welcoming an exchange student? Even the one before me, the year before, or me, was it like, how was it announced at school, or did you hear it kind of through the grapevine? How did you come to hear about it?
So, because my family is very well connected to the school because they're all teachers, I heard about it. I don't really remember like how, if it was before, but hearing that you're going to have a foreign exchange student at your school was so exciting to me. You were kind of like a new species of person.
Yeah,
And I'm like, ooh, this is interesting. It's like a child with a shiny new toy, and you're like, let's poke
yeah,
and like touch all the buttons all at once. That's kind of how it was. But the guy before you from the year before, he left early because there was an incident with a foreign exchange student. So, Wisconsin, we go very hard with our drinking. And there was a French foreign exchange student the year before Michelle who passed away due to alcohol and drinking and all of that. So, our foreign exchange student, I think he was from Germany, he
yeah,
left early,
yeah,
which rightfully so, because the little amount of communication you have with your family, and then all of these, your family, like if they were to get notified, they'd pull you right away. I know
yeah.
my family would too. That's super scary. So it, he didn't stay too long. I didn't really talk
Mhm.
to him. He It's not like he wasn't friendly, but like he was a dude hanging out with the dudes, and I'm like this little middle schooler, so
Yeah.
I don't think a high schooler really wanted to hang out with a middle schooler.
Ah, yeah, I can imagine. But also, what you said is think back on the technology piece.
Mhm.
Imagine the parents here, somebody has died, and it's not like you would be informed every 2 hours of a status, or, I mean,
No.
obviously you could research it, but I'm sure it wasn't like nobody Twittered about it, there was no WhatsApp. So imagine you have very limited contact and you hear somebody else in that city, an exchange student died. I think everybody would have pulled the kids from there, not because of like it was the area, but more about you have so little piece of communication over there. in
Mm-hmm.
that kind of time, that better be safe than sorry.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Eh, I do have a question for you. Did you ever have foreign exchange students at your school?
We did few of them, but for us, our classes are a little bit different. So in
Mm-hmm.
each year, except 12 and 13, because we have 13 years depending on state, maybe 12.
Okay.
So you are not, you are in a class. So if you come to Germany in class 10, most likely you're going to be sitting with the same 20 to 30 people in every class. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the teachers are switching, but not the class. And I don't have electives a lot in that age. So you would probably have the exchange student in one kind of class. Why am I saying this? Because we didn't have any in our class, but I remember in a neighboring class. But we did host somebody for a week in a summer because they
Mm-hmm.
kind of came over 4 weeks to Germany and did, I call it like the family hopping. They went each week to a different family and kind of done some great stuff. Yeah, I mean, it must have been great. We went to the zoo, we did parties, like barbecues. So yeah, it was, I think they were having a great 4 weeks, but it wasn't really living here. It was kind of like vacationing, I would say.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do you think Germans are more welcoming than those in the US, or how do you think the comparison is?
Oh, I'm gonna say Americans are probably more welcoming. There we go.
Mhm.
However, if you have a German friend, you have them for a lifetime. And I
Yeah.
think because I don't know, I sometimes feel like when I'm in America, everything's great and everybody's so welcoming, but then it's very hard to stay in touch after. Where we
Mhm.
are more, as Europeans as well, used to catching up with friends who are in different countries. One of my best friends, she's currently living in, oh my goodness, Saudi Arabia. There we go. And it's
Okay.
very, of course, different. We are not speaking a lot, but we try at least to catch up every so often and speak. But I feel like if you're not there in the US, then you're kind of a little bit out of sight, out of mind. So
Mhm.
I would say welcoming, it's more in the US because you're immediately part of a community, which I love. And it might take you longer in Germany to kind of get that community feeling, to get your friends around you.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I feel like in the US, cuz even me moving from state to state, it's hard to follow up with friendships that are in a different state. But
Yeah,
if you're truly like a good friend, you'll just pick up right where you left off, like nothing ever happened.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's how you can tell if somebody's really truly a good friend because it shouldn't matter where you live, what time zone, whatever, as long as things just pick right back up where they left off. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
I, I
also
can see.
I'm also going to call it the hamster wheel. I think at a certain age, especially when you're working, you many days are very similar of, I don't know, getting up, doing whatever you want to do, and then you're working, and then you have limited time after work. And I think it's easy to kind of postpone speaking, meeting up virtually. It's not, it maybe should be a priority, but we're so stuck in being a hamster wheel, kind of that scenario that it's hard to get out of it. At least that's how I feel since working full time. It's really just, it's sometimes a hassle. So I understand why sometimes it doesn't work out, especially with, I think we also have like a 9 hour difference right now making this call happen. So
Yeah,
that's quite a bit, right? It's your
yeah,
morning, it's my evening, so it gives us limited time actually to connect.
yeah, that is true. But I mean, still like texting on WhatsApp and yeah, you may see it the next day and then I might get back to you at whatever time, there's still a communication flow happening, which
Yeah,
is a positive.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So since you went back home, all of that after being a foreign exchange student, it sounds like you come to the US often to see your host family. And it let's just go over the differences between Europe and US, like the overview. What are your favorite things about the US that's different from Germany and then vice versa?
You're gonna laugh when I say it. Shopping, I love it. It's awful. So it's like, what's different? We don't have colds. I do love colds. I cannot, every time I go, we've been on a road trip, my boyfriend and he's like, another colds. Oh no. It's hilarious because everything is indeed bigger in the US. I mean, the food options, like the cereals, the cars, the parking spaces, the street, you have so much more room.
Hmm.
And so I would say that's a big difference. And I I was once in New York that I used a lot of the public transport, but I would say in Europe and Germany, we have a lot more public transport. Not everybody has a car. You don't need a car necessarily, depending on where you live, how connected you are. I think that's one of the big differences. Also, everything is always on sale in the US. You buy nothing that's not on sale. And here, your sale is like 10% or maybe 20. I mean, you can get some bargains, but I remember first year we watched some TV and I told my host mom, oh, there's a sale going on. We gotta go. And she's like, no, it's happening basically every day. I mean, it's not every day, but when this sale is over, the next happens. So it's basically the sale of the sale, and it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work for Kohl's.
Oh no, I love
Yep.
it, Bethany. I love it. You can't imagine road tripping in Florida and California. I think in California we hit a Coles whenever we would drive by, and it was a planned strategy of mine to drive by and just buy all the things because it was so affordable, great quality, at least what I needed and wanted. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was crazy. Sorry.
No, that's
I got so
okay.
excited for a moment. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I used to work there. It was my second job out of college. But during college, I also worked in the department store
Yeah. Mhm.
section. But then my second job out of college, it was for corporate. So I stayed there for maybe 2 years. I'm not too sure in like the buying offices. That was an experience. And then during COVID, I got let go, which was perfectly fine. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be in like retail, any of that, anyways. So it was
Yeah.
best that I was let go and other people stayed on who truly wanted the job.
Yeah.
And you know what we do, the whole sale thing?
What is it? Tell me.
They,
Tell me all your
they,
secrets.
I know, you're gonna be so disappointed. They
Oh,
jack up the prices before the sale happens. And then they're like, oh, this is like super sale. And it's actually supposed to be like the price of the garment.
I'm just staring at Bethany now. Just for any listener, I'm just staring. I'm
So
like, come on.
it's,
No, I
I
mean,
know,
I still get it, but I mean, for me, I would say, so I've been to the US probably once I left the host family, that was early February. One and a
mhm,
half years later in the summer, I spent my whole summer of 6 weeks in the US. I think I've done that probably like 3, 4 years. I don't
mhm,
remember. I was in the US often, and I got all my clothes in the US usually and just wore it here because even if it was a jacked up price, it
mhm,
was still like, I don't know, I'm going to say a graphic t-shirt for, I don't know, 10, $20 with great
mhm.
quality. I'm like, oh, I love that. And here I
Yeah.
pay maybe $30. So I mean, it's not comparable, of course. It was also nice to see some other things, but yeah.
Mhm.
Now I'm
Mhm.
disappointed. Come on.
Well, in retail, you have to. jack up the price by at least 50% to make a profit,
Yeah.
but at Kohl's they did 60%.
I
How's
won't
your
be
heart
able to
right
sleep
now?
at night.
I
Won't
know.
be able to sleep at night with this knowledge. No, it's fine. It's at some point, So I
Mhm.
always, for each individual item, I usually check, is it worth it for me? And then the
Mhm.
answer is yes. And if it's a, I don't know, or no, then I'm not gonna buy it. So it's, yeah. Even when I came over, I think the second or third time, I brought a suitcase in a suitcase. So I could basically fly in with one big suitcase and I fly out with two suitcases. Because again, I bought all my stuff, the American Eagle jeans, then the next year it was Aeropostale. So I also went through that phase of, or maybe the opposite way, I don't remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, buying at the right store, let's say.
So you went through the American shopping phases even though you were off in Germany. So you came back and
Yeah.
you went with the trends with us.
Oh, Bethany, you gotta ask around. Even my host family, they know if I'm coming, they're gonna have exhaustive day of shopping. People told me, are we gonna go here too? And I'm very efficient. I'm German. It fits the stereotype
Mhm.
beautifully. But I'm very efficient, so I can probably walk through colds, like the clothing, depending on how it is, like maybe 30, 40 minutes. But really, then I'm done. Like I'm very quick in a way. But that
Mhm.
meant we went through Kohl's, Barnes and Noble, we went through the mall, we got here, here, here. So people were exhausted after like 5 hours of this. I was having a great day. I was having a
I
wonderful
bet you
day.
were.
I know, I know. And then
Have-
basically shipping all that home with the extra suitcase.
yeah.
Yeah.
How have you ever been to the Mall of America?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, a
once,
dog.
yeah. No, once when I was 16. And once, actually, this summer, because I met again with my host family, and
Mhm.
we were only shortly in it. I needed to go to
Okay.
Old Navy. You won't believe it, Bethany. I'm like, oh, let me go to Old Navy. Yeah, I know. I know. It's weird. I don't need high-end products. I just want like, I don't know, comfortable and nice. Nice for me,
Mhm.
not for anybody else. So I go
Yeah.
through all of those stores.
Yeah. No, I get that. Do you
Yeah.
think that we're higher consumers in the US than in Germany?
Oh, I can't say.
Do you I mean, like,
I
are you guys
I'm just
okay, I feel like in my mind you guys are more minimalistic where here, like we go and buy the newest thing. We want everything. And if somebody has something that we don't, we feel like we need to go and buy it.
yeah. I mean, let me tell you, of course, this is all subjective. I don't have any numbers or anything about it, but there's a huge, I'm going to call it movement in Germany and Europe for a couple of years now that's looking to reduce waste. And waste could be if you have clothes that you no longer wear, don't just
Mhm.
throw them away, donate them, give them to somebody else. We called them like the swap parties with other females, and you didn't have to know them. It was just like, oh, you tell your friends, maybe they tell other friends, where we would come together and everybody would bring their things that they did no longer need, and you got
Mhm.
basically clothes for free because you would see if anybody wanted what you were kind of offering free of charge. So I think also recycling and being conscious about it is really like a big thing over here, where we don't have any plastic bags anymore in the supermarket. And
Mhm.
I know that was at least a huge thing doing grocery shopping in the US, that you got like millions of plastic bags after. We no longer
Mhm.
have that. You have recyclable paper bags or kind of like recycled plastic bags, but that are super sturdy and you can basically fold them to the side and bring them for your next grocery shopping. So I would
Mhm.
say we're a little bit advanced in that area, or maybe there's just different thought processes behind it. But I'm not sure if you're really consuming more.
Okay.
Could be, I don't know.
Okay. I
Hmm.
know that some states you have to pay like extra for
Yeah.
bags.
We do
So,
it too. Yeah. If
yeah.
you want a bag now, it's you have to pay for it. And I do like it. We actually, when we go grocery shopping, I bring my own bags. And there's
Mhm.
also nobody who is bagging your stuff. That was a huge weird thing. I mean,
Mhm.
we don't do this over here. Literally, I've never seen it. I come to the US, I'm 16, and out of a sudden there's these usually young men who were like bagging your things. It was super weird. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Good old bag boy.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. Yeah, yeah,
And so going back to differences, what about like the food? How do you think food is different here compared to Europe?
yeah. Oh, I can give you a great example. I mean,
Okay.
I've been 5 months interning in New York in 2013,
Mhm.
and it was cheaper for me to eat outside than cook food myself. So I have gained 8 kilograms, which is a lot. Let me quickly see if I can convert that because it was like I've gained a lot of weight
Mhm.
because I ate all of this. I think it could be 17 pounds
Okay.
because I've just eaten, I mean, it's a lot of processed food, obviously, then, you go to restaurants. I remember, yeah, all of that. And then when I came back to Germany and I just ate whatever kind of came up, I didn't eat out as much, but I lost all of that weight again. So I
Yeah.
noticed for myself, even in the summer, I would in the US, I mean, I would eat the donuts, right? I love donuts. They're so yummy. We do have Dunkin' Donuts as well in Germany, but they're just making them different over here. So
Mhm.
there is a difference as well in what, let's say, ingredients are allowed. I do love all the American things, but yeah, I had to always pay attention after a while because I was
Yeah.
just gaining, gaining, gaining. And then the pants wouldn't fit Bethany, and I had to buy new pants, which
Then
is
you had to
not
go
good.
back to Kohl's.
Yeah,
God
and then
forbid.
and then I lost the weight and they wouldn't fit anymore in Germany. So yeah, it was kind of weird. It was,
Yeah.
yeah, weird phenomenon.
I did so I'm not a big fast food person. I really don't like McDonald's,
Yeah.
but I I didn't know where else to eat when I was in Salzburg a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, I just want something cheap, something easy. So I broke down and I went to McDonald's. And I still felt guilty afterwards
Yeah.
because that's that's another thing with Americans. We're always dieting. We're always trying to eat the best thing for us. Everything has protein in it, whatever. But you could tell the difference between the Austrian McDonald's and the US McDonald's. Like it just felt cleaner. And I
Yeah.
know it's fast food, but it did. And then I'm like, you know what? This is so clean. I am going to get myself an ice cream. And it was like a special ice cream. It was
I
like a
love
certain
it.
flavor, and it was great. And I'm like, you know what? McDonald's may not be so bad after all.
Ah, no, no, no. Don't let it
But it
trick you
is,
now. No, no,
I
no.
know, I know, I know.
I love it how you're like, oh, maybe it's okay. No, no, no. I mean, again, once in a while, you're
Yes.
hungry, you need to get some. Yeah, no problem, especially when you travel.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also noticed it's so much nice, like bakeries. We have so many yummy bakeries over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Germany and usually the German-speaking countries as well over in Europe. Not every country has that great of bread, but I also know in France it's great, the baguette. So that's something I really miss. And
Mm-hmm.
When I once brought the groceries from the car to the house in the US, my host mom told me, don't squish the bread. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? And I touched it. And I mean, it was weird toast bread because it was all like floppy and wobbly and it's not sturdy. And I'm like, this is so weird. What is this?
Yeah.
Like, I only ate it toasted because I'm like, this is weird bread. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was also a shock. The bread. I missed my bread and my Brötchen. It's like small breads baked and it's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. We eat a lot of bread
Yeah.
in Germany.
I think I need to move there and eat the carbs.
See? Yeah.
But
Good.
I just read something, and I know I talked to you about this previously, but it came out that there are about 40 different ingredients in like bread in America. We use 40 different
Mhm.
ingredients, where in France, they use two. Of course, it's going to be floppy. It's going to be like weird bread for you. Like you're so used to only simple ingredients.
Yeah.
Like even when I went to Italy, everything was simple ingredients and it tasted amazing. Everything was more fresh. Here, everything is frozen, it's processed, it's in a can. Yeah, those are some of the differences that I could tell
Yeah.
when I go
But I
over to
also
Europe.
think the problem stems or not, let's say it's encouraged because whenever I try to buy fresh, but like cheese to put on a bread or even like some vegetables, some fruits. The
Hmm.
supermarket was just super expensive. Super expensive. Like, I think what you guys do great is I don't know where you get all the berries from, like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. I love them. I've never eaten as many as I have than when I was in the US, but
Hmm.
still, they're not like cheap.
Yeah.
So you, of course, tend to then eat, I don't know, something else. Maybe oh my goodness, what was that yogurt you would kind of have in a plastic bag and you'd squeeze it in your mouth? There's,
Oh, yogurt.
yeah,
Yogurts, right?
go
Go-gurts. That's what it is.
Go-gurts,
Go-gurts.
yes. I mean, that
Hmm.
was kind of nice, but also, it's like sounds fishy today, It's like sounds a little bit weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to put them in the freezer because they were
Yeah.
always so much better frozen.
Yeah. And all the yogurts, like literal yogurts, you can get a very basic solid yogurt here. And let's not talk about exchange rates. Let me just assume it's in dollar and say maybe it's like 80, 90 cents to a dollar. That's like a solid yogurt you could get. You could put some stuff in it that's healthy. You could just eat it. I've never seen that in the US. It's just so expensive in that sense. So that's
Yeah.
why, again, while I was interning in New York, I was just eating all of the like food hall stuff. And I don't know, I went to Panera Bread loads of times because it was cheaper. It was just so much cheaper.
Eating the New York style pizza,
Oh,
the hot
yeah.
dogs on the street.
I mean, one slice of pizza back in the day, I know I've said it now probably the fifth time back in the day, and I feel very old. $1.
Oh,
$1.
those
And
were
then
the
you would get
days.
two slices, put extra Parmesan on it, put the chili flakes on it, and there you go. It was the margarita $2 lunch, which was nice. Cheap.
What is something that you picked up in the US that you bring back to Germany and you don't want to change it? Like a habit or a trait or even something with food.
I would say it's maybe more of a habit or a trait, and I am that way already. However, it's kind of emphasizing it is kind of that community spirit, that just
Hmm.
including people, inclusivity versus exclusivity. I can still have my meetings with my closest ever friends, but generally, invite people over, meet with them, kind of just offer help because Of course, you're getting help in Germany from your friends if you need it. The US, I was part of a church, and when somebody moved on the weekend, they're like, "Oh, do you want to help? Like, do you need help? Sorry, do you want me to help?" And if the
Hmm.
answer was yes, half of the church was basically helping on the move, which was
Yes.
amazing.
Hmm.
And I would say in Germany, you do this for your close friends. I mean, maybe acquaintances, but you're not having that sort of community. So I'm trying to kind of embrace that feeling of inclusivity and just, inviting everybody in and having that. That's
Yeah.
something I think I brought over.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you really felt that, especially in our school, just because it was so small. I don't think
Yeah.
you would really get that as much in the high school. But even in a small town, everybody kind of helps everybody, which is super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love though how everybody's like, oh, it's such a small town, 10,000 inhabitants, I believe.
Hmm.
I come from a small town, 35,000 inhabitants. We had one, hang on, we got a new one. We got one McDonald's. The Burger King was one city over, and I think the Subway was another city over. And there I drive in Merrill, and then I'm like, oh, what is all this? Like, there's a Taco Bell, there's this, there's that. So many food options that we just didn't have. And of course, it was to a certain extent fast food as well, but it was kind of
Hmm.
interesting to say interesting to see what's a small town really. It wasn't
Hmm.
that small. It sounds small, but it somehow wasn't.
Yeah. There's a joke for like Midwesterners where it's like, how small was your city? How well, and then they go to how many kids graduated in your class? Oh,
Oh,
did you have this? Did you have that? Did people drive their tractors to school?
oh,
Like
oh my
going
goodness.
back and forth, there's like different levels
Yeah,
to see how small is actually small.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, no, I mean, I think it was good size. Good size. Wasn't overwhelmed with so many people.
Hmm.
Do remember though, I was once in the Mall of America. That was that one trip when I was 16. And when I came back, I was already like 4 months in the school. I came back, and out of a sudden, I had to ask so many times, what's that vocabulary you're using? Because I was just like, I didn't get it. And then I noticed some of the pupils actually started speaking different around me and simplified their language, which I was looking back, oh, that's kind of nice, but also it didn't help me get better, So
Hmm.
I remember because I don't you should remember we had kitchen duty.
Yep.
And then I stood there at the sink, and out of a sudden words were thrown around, and I'm like, are we speaking English still, or what is it? So I actually remember people around me were like, I don't want to call it dumbing things down because that wasn't it, but choosing words more carefully around me so I could kind of be part of that conversation because that's what I
Hmm.
felt it was like. I was just surprised because I didn't notice. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Ooh.
that was really nice, but confusing when I noticed. A little bit
Yeah.
confusing.
And then my last question for you is, what do you have a memory that really stands out to you about your time as a foreign exchange student? Whether it's good, bad, ugly.
Oh, that's no. I think I just have actually positive ones, especially also the times that I came back in the summer. I loved spending time with my host family, and I still do. And we're still seeing each other when we can. And just camping together. I've never camped before. They had a pop-up camper, 7 people in it. 15 of those 7 people were snoring. Nobody is obviously snoring. It was a loud night, but I think those were some of the fun times. Just, being together. having fun, having sleepovers, just kind of spending that time together. Not one memory per se, but it's just, I think, a connection of all of those.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
today and talking
Yeah.
to me about all things foreign exchange student.
Loved it. Thanks for
Yeah,
inviting me along.
no,
Really
I love
appreciate it.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on and taking time out of your night to talk to me.
Love it.
So,
It was great, Bethany. Thank you so much and take care.
thanks for joining me on this leg of the journey. If today's story made you smile, think, or dream a little bigger, share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. You can find more travel moments and behind the scenes stories on Instagram at Friends Along the Way Pod. Until next time, safe travels, say yes, book the ticket, and keep making friends along the way.